Hi everybody, this is Alex and this is my assignment for CS 3810 on creativity in new media. In previous semesters I took a spreadsheet application class and also taxation. So I figured why not use new media and create a video on YouTube where I can show the basics of how to calculate your taxes. As we know, this is important, and now it's tax season, so it's good to have an idea what to expect, whether you're owed a refund or you owe additional money to the government. So the first thing to start with is your age and whether you're blind or not. Based on the age and if you're blind or not, the government allows extra deduction and credits, so this is important. Also, the next most important thing is your filing status. There are four types of filing statuses: single, married filing jointly, married filing separate, and head of household. For our example, we're using married filing jointly, so we have a taxpayer and a spouse, and let's say they're students or graduate students that have one child. So once you have this data in to your model, you have to calculate your income. For the most part, most of us work on W2, they're employees, and in January we are given a W2 form that will show the total payroll for the year and the federal withholdings. So we can sum these numbers. Also, if you have any type of savings account, you probably have some interest on it. The government wants to know about it because it's included in income and it's taxable income. So let's say we had $1 a month, Also, if you had any dividends, also this should be included. I've included the Schedule C. This is, let's say, if you have a small business. Nowadays, it's very popular. When we do introduction in class, many of the students say that they have a small business. They either sell stuff on Amazon or they do something on the side for extra income. So pretty much the way it works is you have your total revenue for the year and then different deductions. These are your expenses, and you arrive at your net income from small business, and you can include that number to the rest of your income. Also, if you were smart enough to invest in the good stock market, which lately is not doing that well with the COVID-19, but hopefully it will get back on track, and whoever has money there, he'll have some capital gains. So again, at the end of the year, you will be given a statement with short-term and long-term gains, and if any capital gain distributions, you account with that amount by including it in your total income. So gross income will include all of these incomes, and we get to the part where we can do certain types of deductions. So we can do, and it's advisable to have either a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, and you can for 2019 you can do a total of 6,000 contribution. This is basically an amount that gets deducted of your income, and you are not being taxed on it. Plus, it gets invested on the market, and the earnings are also tax-free. So it's very advisable for all of us to have IRA accounts, Roth IRA or traditional IRA accounts, as early as we can. Also, something very popular nowadays with the cost of health insurance is to have a health savings account that's offered by the employer, and usually they contribute some part and the employee contributes the rest. Also, since you are going to have a small business, we are entitled to a self-employment or small business deduction. So this amount will reduce our gross income, and we arrived at our adjusted gross income after adjustments. The next thing in our tax model is the deduction from AGI, and they could be two types, either itemized or standard. Basically, the way it works is where taxpayer is entitled to a certain itemized deductions, but if they don't exceed the standard deduction for your status, you can opt out of the itemized deduction and do an election for standard deduction. So once you deduct it from your adjusted gross income, we are ready for our federal tax form 1040. This is what we are given from the tax accountant when they complete our taxes. So the way it works is it calculates the income, it sums up all of the incomes that we described above, less exclusions if we have any. For example, if you have a financial aid, that's an exclusion. You don't have to include it in income. And I know that a lot of us have financial aid, so just so you know, this is not included in income, and you can double check that with your tax advisor or on the internet, but please note that it's not included. And we arrive at gross income. Less deductions for AGI. This is where our health savings account and IRA accounts play in. And we arrive, as we said, at adjusted gross income. Here we take the less of the deduction that suits us best. In this case, it's itemized deductions because we had a huge medical expense in our example. We are also entitled to a deduction for the small business, and once we deduct that, we arrive at taxable income. Now, to determine the tax on taxable income, to determine this amount, you will need this tax table. So I have it implemented in the model just because I'm going to use it every year, but I took them from IRS website, and you can see in which table you fall in. If you're married filing jointly, you just see where in which tax bracket you fall in, and you can calculate the amount. It's pretty straightforward. In our case, this is over $2,000, and I have few formulas built in just for myself because I'm planning to keep this through the years. But what you can do is, if you don't know how to do that, either you can ask me to email with the file, or you can crunch the numbers with a calculator. It's a straightforward thing. So once we have the total tax, we'll take into consideration the amount of withholdings that we mentioned up above, and they are here, this amount here, the total of federal withholdings, and this amount gets deducted from the total tax that we owe, right? This is the same amount, and we arrive either at a tax refund or a tax due. And again, I have a built-in formula here to tell me if it's a refund or a due, but basically you can see which is more, your withholdings or your total tax, and figure out your refund or tax due. I hope that has been very useful for you. Please, if you have any comments, comment below, and if you need this file, I can send it to you. Thank you.